Now, Cory Doctorow, are you with us, or are you blogging now?
No, well, I'm blogging the panel as we're here, but I'm also preparing my remarks.
Hey, we're a different generation.
So I actually want to talk a little about that generational difference. One of the things that I had expected to hear at this event that I didn't hear much of, if any, was we've been told all along that we're giving up this freedom to get security, and we haven't got security. I mean, we're all in accord that we've given up the freedom. But I heard not nearly enough of, and we didn't get the security we were promised. So, you know, we've been told that we're collecting larger haystacks of information in the hopes that it will make the needles easier to find. You look at the 9/11 Commission report and you find out that, in fact, the American intelligence apparatus knew the September 11th attack was happening in hindsight, but they also knew a million other irrelevancies, and that an adequate approach to discovering it might have been to collect less information, not more. We're told that we need to abridge the right to take photographs in public places because terrorists plan attacks by photograph, but no one outside of a Vin Diesel movie has ever seen a terrorist doing this. Indeed, if knowing what public buildings look like puts them at risk of terrorism, then every public building is doomed because we all know what they look like. Algorithms don't catch terrorism, and no one except a programmer trying to sell you his algorithm will tell you that it does. You don't defend people against ID theft by gathering mountains of sensitive personal information and leaving it around where any Muppet from the HMRC might leave it on the tube. Databases are immortal, pluripotent, and infinitely fecund. That which the internet has learned it will never forget. Paris Hilton's genitals are immortal. When you collect information on 25 million households, it doesn't matter that someone lost it today. They're going to lose it eventually. I'm a novelist. I know that the gun on the mantle in Act 1 is destined to go off by Act 3. And kids are the beta testers of the surveillance state. We know, when we look at the empirical evidence, that kids are at the greatest risk, not from strangers on the internet, but from the authority figures in their lives. If we want to make kids safe from pedophiles, we should teach them to distrust authority, to resist adults who tell them what to do. Kids are not made safer by wiretapping their every click and surveilling their entire internet experience. Indeed, if you want to make kids safer on the internet, teach them that their information matters. Teach them to use cryptographic tools to secure their protocols, to break every lock, to get outside of every firewall, and to learn to seize the means of information. And by so doing, we will teach them to be participating citizens of the information society. The technocratic model is the Singaporean model, but at least in Singapore, the trains run on time. If the government is going to take away our liberty and replace it with technology to make society more efficient, they should at least deliver on efficiency. Sure, you can always find a vendor who will tell you that you can make society better by building a database so big it needs its own 4-megawatt nuclear reactor to power it, and that's not hyperbole. That's how much power the $12 billion database is going to need. And sure, you can always find some crowd who, if you scare them enough, will come out and vote for you. But do enough of that stuff, and you find yourself strapping people to a ducking stool or a waterboarding table. The government tells us that we need to give up liberty to get security, but they're not even delivering on that. These are indeed dangerous times, and they demand a response that genuinely secures us against everyone who would attack us, whether they do it with a bomb or a law. Thank you.
It's like hip-hop, that. Very, very, very impressive speaking.